What's up, guys? Welcome to the Shelby Clement Podcast. This is a podcast where we are going to talk about everything. Like, literally nothing is off limits. We are figuring out business, life, religion, and motherhood all at one time. I am a small town girl chasing a big old dream that's here to let you in on this entire journey as I completely surrender to Jesus and let him guide me on what he has next. This podcast is going to be filled with raw solo episodes from yours truly. I'm going to bring you along on the journey every week of what I have going on, as well as I'm going to interview big brand names, aka women that have done what I am doing, that are willing to get unfiltered and raw with us to bring you along on their journey as well. Guys, I hope you freaking love this podcast. I am here just to be a girlfriend, a friend, a mentor, whatever it is, to let you know that you are not alone in this journey called life and building a business and chasing your God-given talent. Guys, welcome to the Shelby Clement Podcast. Let's get to it. This is wild. Okay, guys, we are back. We are freaking back. And like, truly, I can finally talk freely about all the things that I've been keeping a secret from all of you, but some of you didn't know because you told me in my DMs. And anyway, we can talk about it. We can freaking talk about the fact that I'm a nudist for the biggest, best, most favorite of all time brand. Because if you follow me, you knew I talked about NUUDS for a long time. I've talked about Darlene for a really long time because she has been one of my favorite influencers, not in like a stalker kind of way, but kind of maybe just a little bit. But at the same time, it's because her brain, her marketing brain, guys, it is absolutely insane. The way that she's built her personal brand, influencing about being super authentic and true, that is what led into the freaking skyrocket launch of NUUDS. Guys, I'm yelling, but I'm excited and I don't know what else or how else to explain the fact that I think I'm living in a dream that I haven't woke up from, but I don't want anybody to wake me up from or actually pinch me, because in the same breath, this is my life. This episode is going to be full of all kinds of gratitude. I'm going to try to bring you through what I have experienced in the last few weeks of the whirlwind of being a freaking nudist, from not being able to tell you guys anything, from you in my DMs guessing, to me saying I can't say anything because the contracts and all the things, to finally getting to Dallas after a whirlwind of a freaking snowstorm that decided to come out of, I don't know, Antarctica. That made no sense, but here we go. Just bear with me. We finally went to Dallas, Texas, and I was so moody Judy before I got there because I didn't know if it was going to be true. And I already know this. All the optimistic people in my life said, Shelby, if it gets canceled, it will get rescheduled. It will happen. I get it. But in that moment, I just wanted to step foot into Dallas so I could learn and make this opportunity feel real. Because let's be honest, it didn't feel real until I got there. It still didn't feel real when I was there, and it still doesn't feel real now that I am not there. But anyway, I was chosen. And for those of you that have asked, this was not something that I applied for. This was not something strategic. This was not something I saw coming. As we all know, I just wanted the girl on my podcast, and we sat in the hallway, and she told me straight to my face about the podcast. Dun, dun, dun. And honestly, old Shelby, feelings Shelby probably would have cried over the response. But at the same time, I'm like, holy shit, I'm the exact same way. And I would have said the exact same thing to someone. But I will get there because we're going to dive into it all. Guys, I am so excited to be able to bring you along on this journey and tell you everything. I am an open book. And you know, if I can't be authentically myself here, where the hell am I going to be authentic? Because we're just girly pops trying to figure out how to live our God-given purpose together as one big family and cheer each other on, because let's be real. We all know in December, Shelby was like low of low. I've always been known as the hype girl, excited, have all my shit together. Things are perfect. The outside, everything was perfect. On the inside, my marriage, my business, everything was great. Everything was thriving. But internally, I was not okay. I even said, self-diagnosed to my doctor, to my friends, I think I have functional depression. And ultimately, I didn't know what to do in that moment, of what to say, how to act, how to respond. I remember even sending my husband a text message that said, if I didn't have to come back, I wouldn't. Meaning, I was going to New York, staying. I had just deleted my social media. If that wasn't a cry for freaking help, I don't know what was. I will tell you though, the trip to New York was probably the best thing that ever happened to me. Number one, it allowed me to really get out of this world. Number two, I was off of social media. So I actually got to dive into being present with my kids, spending time with my parents, and having the opportunity to say that I got us all out there. My business was that successful that I could spontaneously take a trip. Now, you're probably wondering where the hell was John? John was shooting deer, okay? He was somewhere else in Oklahoma doing guy things that he loves, and I love that for him. But in that moment, kind of wish he was in New York with us, but it's fine. We're not going to talk about that. So we go to New York. On the way, on the plane ride, I get this email that one, I didn't believe. The one that you have to click on the email address to see if it's actually real life NUUDS or just like a scam Gmail account, because we can't play with my heart in this moment. We don't play with my heart at all, especially when it comes to NUUDS. My question back to her as I continue to read that email was, is this real? And she giggles. And I was like, Mom, stand up. Y'all, when I tell you, I just kept reading, and I'm just so used to paying for something at this caliber to learn from someone at this caliber that when I read everything and it was just like, we're inviting you to come and be a part of this program, my jaw hit the ground. First off, I'm not an influencer. Second, yes, I do create content, but like not at that caliber. And like, here's the thing though. Let's back up. Here's the thing. I keep saying I'm not an influencer, but we're embracing it because there's absolutely nothing wrong with you being an influencer or a content creator, because me being as successful as I am, I have some sort of influence in regards to my business, my brand, and who I am. Let's just be bottom line. I don't like talking great about myself. So we're working on that in therapy. That is not a you problem. That is a me problem. And we will get there with my therapist. But what I'm going to tell you is this. I am going all in this year. I am going into the people that want to see more of who I am, the people that want to see behind the scenes, the people that want to see the brains of how I built SCM, the brains of how I'm about to buy a business I have no idea what the hell I'm doing, and the brains behind me going into this opportunity with NUUDS as a nudist. And I'm going to do my damnedest to be the best that I can at the whatever they give me to do. But the best thing about this brand is they aren't expecting anything from us. Ultimately, yes, brand awareness, new community. They want real human beings repping their brand, which is something I did prior to even being in this program. But all they want ultimately from this, and what I learned when I went to Dallas, is they only want to pour into us. What are our goals? What are our dreams? How can we get there, and how can they help us? And I just think that that's so beautiful. And when I break down to you guys this program, you're going to be like, holy shit, I've never heard of anything like this. Because there are affiliate programs, there are ambassador programs, there are influences kinds of things. But I'm about to tell you everything that is involved in the Nuudist program. And yes, nude. No, I'm not getting nude. And I love that they named their business NUUDS because they have so much fun marketing it. But let's dive in. Okay. So I get this email, right? We go to Dallas. We have this retreat. We get to be mentored by Daryl Ann. We get 4 masterclasses a year, 1 one-on-one session. Holy shit. And we also get a discount code for new customers, gets 20% off of their first order. So if you are listening to this and you've never bought NUUDS and I haven't convinced you up until this point, this podcast right here is about to convince you that this is the brand that you should be repping and wearing every single day. I wear this brand probably every single day because it makes me feel confident. It makes me feel comfortable, and it's really made for real bodies. Like literally they have an entire campaign called Real Bodies campaign. They want to make the woman, the everyday woman, the normal woman going to work, being a stay-at-home mom, chasing her dreams, influencing, whatever it is that you wake up and do every single day, feel beautiful no matter what you put on your body. She has done the research to find the things that we hate about clothing and done the complete opposite with her clothing line. And I think that that's just such a pretty beautiful thing, first off, that she did. And second, I think that's why it makes it successful. And third, I think that that's why this is just like an amazing opportunity that I will never be over. So if you're sick of me talking about it already, you might as well just hit the unfollow button and unsubscribe. Please don't do that because I love you. But if you need to, I won't hold it against you. So we go to Dallas. There was a snowstorm. We were supposed to go on a Monday. We didn't get there until Tuesday, and hell or high water, we were going to get there. Everybody was in a group chat. Once we signed all of our contracts and NDAs, they put us in a group chat. We got to meet all the other nudists. I literally remember when I got put in this group chat, I told my kids and my husband, this moment right now, mama needs a minute and I'm going to be on my phone. So y'all are going to need to go to bed with your dad and not bother me. And I did not feel shameful because you want to know why? I have such a supportive husband that was like, holy shit, girl, you soak in this moment. Soak it in right now. So I remember literally laying on my bed, just messaging all these girls. They were giving their Instagram accounts. Everybody was so excited. Everybody was talking about imposter syndrome. Everybody was talking about, is this real life? What are we going to do? All this stuff. So we finally get to Dallas, right? We meet everybody in real life. We're in the office. Okay. I've been following the Dinner family, the Dinner Fletcher family, however you want to say it, forever. Me and my best friend have been following them probably for since 2019, 2018, something like that. So I know quite literally every single person in their family, which is kind of shameful to say, but at the same time, they put it on the internet. So I'm really not that shameful to say it. I get to the NUUDS office. It's so fun. I'm there first. No, this was not planned. But I sit down with Natalie, their head of marketing, and Belle, the angel on earth that is the community coordinator. That is the person that is head up this whole entire program. They had us coffee. This was probably like my third cup of coffee for the day because my wake up call was at 3. My flight was at 6. And so I was like just fuming with coffee. All the girls started showing up, and it's just those moments of like, you feel like you already know them because you're already in a group chat. And so you just like are catching up. And then Robert walks in, which is Darylyn's brother, which I know exactly who he is, but you have to stay composed. And for girlfriend to girlfriend, like me to you, like, cause this is a safe space and no one's going to tell the world. I kind of mini freaked out in a moment, but I pulled myself together. My best friend was like, did you freak out? Did you ask all the questions? Did you get a picture? I was like, no. All I said was, hey, Robert, I'm Shelby. Congratulations on your new baby. How's Blair? First off, that's his wife. They just had a new baby and his name is Robert, clearly. And he was like, good, good, good. He went to work. They all work at NUUDS. And so whatever, we continued our day. We talked or whatever. I mean, we continued talking to all the girls. Then Daryl Ann walks in. Everybody has been waiting on the reaction of like how I respond when Daryl Ann walks in. Because if you've been following me, you know. If you went to DGML, you know. If you listened to the podcast, you know. If you saw me mention it, you freaking know. Okay. Well, when she walked in, I want you to imagine. So if you're listening to this in your car, I want you to imagine that I literally just did a 180. Like my back was to her. I was like, and in a split second, I was like, what the hell did you just do? Like, why did you turn around? Like, that makes no sense. And so I turn back around. She hugs me. She says my name. And I'm like, holy shit, she knows who I am. Well, duh, Shelby. She followed you like a month ago, maybe a little bit before. I freaked out. I remember when she followed me. Okay. And it's just been like a whirlwind. Okay. She is probably the most down to earth, the same exact person that she is online. So they got all of our orders for lunch. We walked over to the building next door because they had a huge conference room. We walk in. I'm going to paint the picture. It's a huge conference room. It's a long table. On the table, they have a beautifully placed Nuudist sweatshirt. It says Nuudist. Only 10 of us have it. You can be jealous, and that's okay for me to say right now because I am living on cloud 100. Anyway, you walk to your spot. You have a name tag. You have your sweatshirt. You have a pamphlet that we're about to go through because this is not just like a fun trip. I understand it was a very fun trip, but I understand from like Instagram and like the recaps and everything, it just looks like all we did is have a freaking blast, which is 100% the case. But we also learned things. They did a presentation on the mission, the values, why was NUUDS formed. They had us go around, introduce ourselves. Who are we? What's our favorite product? What's something interesting about us? When you are put on the spot to say something interesting about yourself, you literally think that you're the most boring person on the planet, right? I don't even remember what I said. Maybe I said I had Hashimoto's. I'm not really sure. But then the second thing that we went around and talked about is our goals and what we want. And of course, your girl, first off, was hormonal. I'm just going to like say that I'm just hormonal 24/7 because I feel like I say that all the time. I started crying because I started talking about December and how I was in such a low that I was like ready to give up. I was ready to hang up social media. I was ready to just be done. I was going to let SCM fly. It's like whatever, but my personal brand was going to be done. Right. And I remember praying and asking Jesus, I was like, what do you want me to do? Like, you need to tell me what I need to do right now and what plan you have for me. And then boom, the email came through and I was like, okay, I guess I'm getting back on social media. I shared this story with him. I was very raw, very vulnerable. And I just was like, my goal right now is to learn your brain, like to understand how you did what you did and what do you do at this caliber. I'm about to buy a business and I just want to learn XYZ. And so she was so welcoming to everybody's goal. She was like, all right, cool, done, got it. We're going to help you get there. You're going to do this. This is how this is going to work. And it was just like so assertive and like these like little small things that she would say, for example, is feedback is neutral. You decide and you move. Like if something goes wrong, we make a decision and we go. Like you literally can't just dwell on things. And like the 2 hours that we were there, or 3 hours or 4 hours, I don't even know. We just learned so much. Then we had In-N-Out burger, which I've never had in my entire life. And I had it on a lettuce wrap, the protein burger. We all know, if you don't know, I do not like lettuce. I only ate lettuce and it did nothing. So I ate too much lettuce. And so I don't like lettuce at all. And it doesn't really work. So whatever. But the burger was absolutely phenomenal. It's the first time I ever had it. Their french fries were gluten-free, so I could eat that. So what we did next. So then we started going over the perks of this program. I already told you in the beginning of this call, number one, we get mentored by her once, one-on-one. We get 4 master classes. We get 20% off discount code to new people buying nudes. And we make a commission on every time y'all use our links. So use our links. I'll put them in the show notes in the low. Okay, I love you. Bye. The biggest thing of all. Oh, and we also got to go on that retreat. Everything was so gratitude, grateful. And I've seen like things like that in programs, but what I'm about to tell you, I've never seen. And if there are out there, cool. But this December for the holiday season, I will have a piece named Shelby launching. And like thinking of that for my favorite brand that I've literally talked about for years. Oh my God, I'm so hormonal. That I've talked about for years, and now I get to create a piece of clothing that y'all get to buy. Like, first off, never in a million years did I ever think that was gonna be on my bingo card or a vision board or anything in sight. Like, what do I know about any of this? Nothing. But the opportunity and the way that God works when you are at an all-time low, and knowing that like what I've been doing for the last 4.5 years that does not pertain to influencing or content creation, how it all pays off in a way that you never saw coming. I don't think I still understand the caliber of this. Like, I get to create a piece of clothing that I think is going to be called the Shelby, that I get to launch to all of you during the holiday season. So right after we ate, they asked us to wear like tight fitting clothes because we got measured and they want to make sure our piece that we're designing is just perfection. So they got all of our measurements and all of the things. We learned what things sell the best, what we should possibly create. We like all the things that are coming. I just like I just texted Mallory and I was like, I don't know why it's so hard for me to do this solo episode about nudes, because number one, I don't want it to be like I'm not grateful, but at the same time, it doesn't feel real. And the amount of DMs or text messages that I've gotten, like, how did you get this? Or how did you apply for this? And the fact that they chose me, one of 10 humans out of the world, is still mind blowing. And it just goes to show that with consistency and grit and determination, and no matter what people say about you or how people treat you or all of these things, God is good and he has a bigger plan for all of us. So to wrap my head around something that I still don't understand, to do a solo episode on for y'all, because I want to take you along on the journey, because y'all are the reason I'm doing this. You are the reason why I keep going. You are the reason why I show up every day. And why not tell you everything? I truly don't even know where I left off, because I'm so grateful. And so we did the measurements, and I'll tell y'all more as we know more about the piece, because I do think bringing y'all along on the journey is the most exciting part. We went to our hotel, and I've seen this online. Like, I have seen room drops. I have seen brands spoil people, but never in a million years did I believe that it was going to happen to me. And I had no idea. And so I was like, how do I capture this moment? And I'm being very honest, because I ended up telling this to the girls when we sat in the room, the hallway, the random hallway I'll get to. In that moment, I was with there's like the 10 of us. It ranges from people with like 1,000 followers all the way up to like 200 and I think 50,000 followers. I don't know, like something between that. Like there's like a huge range, but we're all very normal human beings. And I've never done a room drop. So I was like asking questions like, how do you video this? Like, how do you capture the moment? Like all these things. Well, I remember one of the girls saying like, close your eyes, open your door, go set your tripod in, turn the camera on, go out of your door. And I've always told you guys, like, if it isn't true to who I am and authentic to who I am, I'm not doing it. Right. And that might work for some people, but it didn't work for me. But in that moment, I did do it. I got that first initial reaction based on that. And so I kept it. But then I was like, you know what? There's no way for me to aesthetically get my reaction and it be authentic and real at the same time. And someone I think it was Samantha in the group, showed me on the new phone, you could do like a dual camera. And so I was like, you know what? If I can't do this my way, I'm not going to do it at all. So I took the camera off, the phone off my tripod, and I turned the camera on. And I did the dual camera so you could see my reaction and the reaction of the stuff that I got. And I remember putting the video together and telling my team, like, I don't know if I should put this out there because it just isn't like aesthetically pleasing. Again, going against what I've believed in forever and what I've preached for 4.5 years. And I was like, it just doesn't feel at the caliber that I need it to be for this trip. And they said, this is who you are. So I think that you should post it. And what I will admit in this moment is when you are with people that create content for a living and they do it a certain way, it's intimidating and you get in your own head, and it has nothing to do with them and everything to do with you, because you think at that moment you should be creating in a way that it doesn't make sense for you. And that is where I fell short. And in that moment, I let the devil steal my joy because I was overthinking that I didn't get the perfect shot. I got to do this. I got to do this. When in reality, in this whole journey, and what I'm going to tell all of you is this: I am going to promise every single one of you through this entire program, I will be 1010% authentically myself. In the moment that I can't be, it is not for me anymore. And I remember calling my team. I remember calling my husband. I remember calling my mom and my sister, and showing them like all the things, my best friend, all the things that I got. And I was just so proud of that moment of me, of saying like, you've worked really hard for this. And I've always been the girl that's like, okay, I've achieved this. What's next? I've achieved this. What's next? I've achieved this. What's next? And I'm learning this in therapy of like, celebrate the small wins, because these are still really big wins, even if they feel like small wins. And like landing this brand deal is like a freaking massive win. And so I'm learning to really digest and accept that, you know, I put in the work to be here behind the scenes, and no one can actually take that from me. And so I got ready for dinner and went to dinner. We got more stuff. That's where we got the XOXO collection, the PJs and the striped set, the seaside set that I showed y'all yesterday. And we ate dinner and we all just like hung out, got to know each other. Daryl Ann's team came, the girls went. There were some presentations about like, they explained the PJs, they explained everything that we got. And then Allie, the creative director, we met Kelly, their social girl. Allie, the creative director, got up there and kind of explained like how the photo shoot was going to go. So day 2, we had a photo shoot, a professional photo shoot where we did a bunch of photos. And then we did our launching video, which was like, if you didn't see them trench coats, we was in them trench coats, baby. That video made my jaw hit the ground, okay? They wanted it to be cheesy. They wanted it to be sassy. And like when he asked me to go out there to film my part, he wanted me to wink, and I don't know how to wink, and it like looks awkward. And I'm like, and so like we said no to that, clearly. But anyway, so we talked about the creative way of everything. So go to my room. I'm so tired. Get in bed, whatever. Wake up the next day. They had one group that was at 7:30 to start with hair and makeup, and then the next group started at 8:30 with hair and makeup. I was in the 8:30 group. We did hair and makeup, which, oh my God, if y'all didn't see my makeup, it was delicious. I will have to tag them and shout them out again. I did a lot of shouting out to them, but they were so great. She taught me actually how to do my hair, and that new tool that NUUDS gave me, I'm obsessed with. I'm actually trying to get one for a giveaway that I want to plan for y'all. But anyway, so I literally get my hair and makeup done. We go to Starbucks to get some fuel, and then we head to the studio where we're going. We get there. It is like a dream brand shoot. Like, I've taken a lot of photos in my life and in my business, but you have the backdrop, you have the big screen where you can see yourself instantaneously. Like, everybody's there. There's snacks, the makeup artist there, there's hair people there, there's people to make sure whatever, and like all the things. So we did our photo shoot. We did individuals. We did groups. We go outside. We do our segment for the video. We do photos out there too. It's just freaking amazing. I recorded a TikTok. My girls taught me how to do that. Don't really know how to do it because I don't do trends, but they're so fun. So I'm going to probably be doing more of that. If you're marketing and you're listening to me and you're one of my clients, I'm not telling you to do this because y'all are small business owners and we need to build authority. That's a different conversation anyway, or you can, I don't care, do what you want. Anyway, so we have a great day. Then we eat lunch. We go into like the XOXO collection. She does the stories with us. We do our different photo shoots they can use for promo. We get kicked out of the studio. And I knew in my gut that like, I didn't want to rush this opportunity. I could have flown home that Wednesday night, but I just didn't want to. I wanted to soak it all in. I wanted to go to the hotel. I wanted to see all the things, all this stuff. But God knew because I didn't fly out till Wednesday morning. And as we were leaving, Daryl ended up staying back with us. And so we got to ask her questions. And we ended up sitting in the hallway for like 2 hours and just talking. And that was probably one of the highlights of the trip because she was just so blunt and honest. And people were asking about rates. People were asking about percentages. People were asking about follower count. People were asking about strategic aspects of like being an influencer or content creator. And she was just like, no, yes, do this, don't do that. Like, that's not going to work. That's bullshit, blah, blah, blah. Like all this stuff. She didn't say bullshit. I said that, whatever. So then your girl, because I share everything with y'all. So she humbled me really quickly. I said, so I do have a question for you. I was like, if I wanted to have women that have really, if I wanted to have women on the podcast that I could interview and we could talk about their journey and how they got where they are and like make them more relatable. So the people that are really going after what they're going after, can see that they were once them and this is where they are now and just have like a genuine conversation because I respect it. I was like, where I would fly my whole team to y'all and like we would do this. And she goes, I want to tell you this, but I don't want to hurt your feelings. And I was like, okay. And I'm a people pleaser, sensitive Sally. So I was like, brace for impact. Because I knew that I probably would be embarrassed for asking that question in front of everyone that's in there, but I'm also proud of myself for shooting my shot. But I'm also like, the answer makes freaking sense. Number one, she said, Shelby, this has nothing to do with you and everything to do with them. But what are they going to get out of it? They're probably going to say no. It's probably not going to happen. First off, do you like your podcast? If you don't love your podcast, let it go. If you do love your podcast, keep it. That's literally what she said straight to my face. Second, if there's nothing in it for them, they probably won't do it because time is money. And I'm like, holy crap. Like I say that, like that's boundaries I have. So who do I think that I am that's going to get these women on this podcast to interview about their life? Probably not going to happen unless I'm paying them or whatever. And it just, in that moment, that's what she said. That was it. There was no dramatics. But in that moment, it made me realize like, okay, if I want to interview them and it is a goal to interview them, what is the work that I need to do in order to make it to where my podcast is worth it for their time to be on? Right? So in my mind, instead of saying, oh my God, I'm shutting my podcast down because I love talking to y'all. Like I talk a lot. So we're going to do this and content comes out of this. So we're not giving this up. If I want to get them on the podcast, how am I going to grow my podcast? How am I going to get known outside of my podcast to drive people to my podcast? What is it going to be? What do I need to develop that is something that's going to be beneficial for them? So when I do ask them to be on the podcast, they know that. And so what I like to tell everybody is this, because after we sat in the hallway, there was many comments that said like, I feel like I'm doing this wrong. Or I feel like I've been doing this wrong. And I literally said, knowledge is power. So whether you fail or succeed, if you aren't learning and continuing to learn, you will not succeed. So knowledge, if we can understand that knowledge and everything that we're learning is actually power to get you to where you want to go, then anything is possible, right? And I'm the type of person that you tell me what to do and I'm going to do it. If you tell me how to do it, we're going to get there. And if you don't tell me how to do it, I'm going to figure out how to do it. I'm going to get there anyway. I'm going to find out the connections, because I will tell you this, the conversation I just had with one of the other nudists is connections are everything. And that is actually how you move in the world of business. And so if you don't have connections and you're not putting yourselves in the right rooms, if you're not investing in yourself, if you're not continuously learning, if you're not shooting your shot, you will not grow at all. Like at all. And so I remember going back to the room and I was just like overloaded with all of everything that's happened in the last 48 hours. There was literally crap everywhere. I remember FaceTiming, I room serviced food because I couldn't think straight. And I remember FaceTiming my best friend, Morgan, and I was literally like, I'm so overwhelmed. I don't even know how to pack at this point. And like saying that out loud sounds so stupid. Sounds so stupid. She was like, Shelby, open the suitcase, put it in the suitcase, close the suitcase. You're going to wash all of it anyway. So like, put it in the suitcase, close the suitcase, be done. And I just couldn't do it. But anyway, I ended up doing it. But I just like got on the plane, came home. The amount of support was through the roof. It was through the roof. And I'm just so grateful. I'm so grateful that I was chosen. I'm so grateful to live this life. I'm so grateful for this God-given purpose. I am so grateful for this opportunity to learn and to grow. And I'm so grateful to have the people around me that support me in a way that I needed them to in December, and not just come out of the blue and not just show up. I'm grateful for those people. I'm grateful for the people that never left when I was in the trenches. I'm very grateful. And I am so excited to take you along on this journey. I am so excited to tell you everything, to talk to you, to be an advocate for, to be your inspiration that anything is possible with grit and determination. And I just want to say thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for being here. It means more than you will ever know. And if I have the opportunity to meet you that I get to have conversations with in the DMs, that will just be a highlight in my life. So I am trying, my goal is to put Louisiana on the map for NUUDS so we can get a pop-up over here. So one, I can meet you all. And so two, you can meet NUUDS and how awesome it is, and the people that work there. So I don't know. This is just the beginning. My life has already changed. And I'm just so grateful. So thank you all so much for being here. And until next time, welcome to the new chapter. Bye.